So basically, I just wanted to talk about like this new era of Black television. Like, I don't know if you guys, has everybody seen the Fresh Prince trailer, the new Fresh Prince trailer?
And I liked it.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Why he sound like Carl when you said it?
You don't know why I like it though.
You sounded like Carlton when you said it. You sounded like Carlton.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Carlton on the spot.
It's not unusual.
Be loved by anyone.
Right, but
hey, Tom Jones the hit though. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you why I like it though. The reason why I like it is because, like, number one, they know damn well they can't recreate like what Will did. Like that show stands alone. That show stands alone. You can't approach it the same way. It's not going to work. You can't get anything close to what he did. So you have to change the approach. Now, this goes into when you brought up the topic to me, right? I started to look at the difference between the Black shows from the 90s and the 80s to now. There's one big, there's a big difference for me. And we went from, I call it like a lighthearted comedy with life lessons to exaggerated realness. If you look at all the different shit from the quote unquote Black shows from now, a lot of that shit is like, this shit is a little bit too much. Like,
I'm so glad you said that because I can't wait to disagree with you, but I'm so glad you said that.
That's fine. I mean, but like, I don't even pay attention too much. So like, educate me.
I'm a little confused by the statement. Can you break that down just a little bit more for me? I didn't quite understand.
So like, I look at shows like Euphoria. I haven't watched an episode.
Is Euphoria a Black show?
No. Like I equated to that because Zendaya, but like I don't know.
I don't think it's a Black show.
Look, I put it
it's
that
not
way
a Black show,
like,
but it has a Black
like on Twitter. It's within, on Twitter, like Black Twitter discusses it, so I put it in that category. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I haven't seen an episode, but like looking at, like, I mean, that's what I do. Like Insecure.
Like I will say, I heard something today. I heard something today about Euphoria that I thought was on point. They said it was A24's version of Kids, the 94 movie. And I'm like, that's probably one of the greatest scripts I've ever heard.
I saw that too.
All right. So yeah, going back to my point. I don't watch much of the shows that people all talk about now just because like it doesn't hit for me. Like if I look back at like Living Single, I used to watch a show all the time. Martin, Fresh Prince, A Different World. Looking at all those shows, it was like lighthearted comedy with like life lessons sprinkled in there. It's like you can learn something from that, in my opinion, like to be a better person.
Yeah.
If I look at like all this shit now, it's like, all right. I mean, I haven't seen. Is This Is Us? Is that considered like a Black show?
No.
What's the not Modern Family?
Blackish. That's a Black show.
That's a Black show.
I haven't. Yeah, I mean, it should be.
It's Blackish.
It should be.
I didn't even see that joke. I should have.
I mean, that's the name of the goddamn show. It's like,
I should have seen it.
But what you're saying that like this era is more exaggerated than last. I don't know.
No, but
Martin's doing a lot. Fresh Prince is doing a lot.
Wait. I need to say. Wait. Hold on. I need to say this.
Steve Urkel went to space.
I need to put the point out there. It's not just Black TV. I think all shows on these like networks and shit have been exaggerated. If you look at, like, I was looking at the trends of like the most popular TV shows from 86 all the way up until like 2012 and shit like that, right? And it went from like the Cosby Show to like A Different World. Then you got like, what else I write down? Roseanne, Home Improvement, Seinfeld. Then like that was like the 90s. And then it went from like the mid 90s was like ER, Friends, and Frasier. It went from, like the Black comedies to more so like white comedies of like middle-aged people in like a big city type shit. And then it went from that to like CSI. and like it went like to
Oh, I
crime,
know her.
right? All this type of crime shit, and then from there, it just like exploded to that's what that is now. So like, I don't even really, that doesn't hit for me.
I see. Okay, so I want to hit on your point. I see what you're saying. I don't think James necessarily means just like exaggerated, but like back then it was like sitcoms. We were getting sitcoms where taped
multicam sitcoms. Yeah.
Like we're getting more of those, and now like as you like going further through time, it's more dramas. It's more dramas. We're not getting
exaggerated drama.
That's a sitcom.
Same thing for me.
Yeah, same thing. It's the same thing you're saying, and it's like we're not getting any more of those, and it's just dramas. And so, Kadeem, I just want you to kind of talk about like your opinion on that, because I personally think basically that though that is a thing, I think it's been a good thing, and I think in this era, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, we have a more diverse selection of Black content than we've ever had.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I think that's the biggest fundamental thing with it is that like there was an era back in the 90s where sitcom was king, and there was a time period where you only had but X number of networks that were on any television channels, and there never had been a time where you don't have as many black-led sitcoms, black-led sitcoms in the primetime space. But even with that, there's some caveats, right, about like who the creators of some of the shows are during that time period too. Because I mean, like Fresh Prince, you kind of get a pass because Quincy Jones was involved as far as the involvement and who it is they kind of get. But then you like one of my favorite shows from the 90s as far as a Black show, which I think is supremely underrated, is a show called Rock with Charles S. Dutton. Was a trash truck driver in Baltimore, and the maker of it was a I think white or Jewish. As a lot of Norman Lears and all that guys, the showrunners for a lot of the shows. But it was a very, very Black, I mean, it was Black as goddamn TV show, I think, in primetime period. But even with that, I look at that era and say for a couple things that were like direct offshoots of what happened with the Cosby Show, like what you have with A Different World, but even Cosby, the way that you have a sitcom kind of wrap it up with here's the lesson at the end, I always found to be corny as fuck and not really something that resonated with me all that much. I still think that there's a lot of comedies that exist today. It's just
Even
not.
as a kid?
Huh?
Even as a kid?
Even as a kid?
Like you looked at it as corny as a kid?
Dude, I mean, middle school, my nickname was Uncle Phil. I've always been a little bit older as far as everybody else. Like I never believed in Santa Claus. I was the one in church being like, why does God do X, Y, and Z? I was just always questioning.
Stayed back?
Huh?
You stayed back?
I did not stay back.
You said you was older.
He said he's always been looked at.
But here's the thing: is that this is James in a microcosm, right? I need a laugh track and I need Black Knight. Like that's what you need. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't need to. Fuck you.
Hey, But like you just have like McNulty railing on the screen.
But then you have what ended up happening past a certain point where like what The Office did with the more single camera, guerrilla style shooting, documentary style. And now that's kind of been the thing going forward. What HBO does, which is never usually the multi-camera, except for I think they tried to do it with Lucky Louie, which is Louis C.K.'s sitcom, like adult sitcom on HBO, which I thought was amazing. But I would agree with you, Keem, in the sense of this era right now, I think is probably the best in the sense of the diversity along the lines of the television. Outside of just comedy, what you're seeing as far from a drama standpoint with shows like Snowfall, or even though I think it's too melodramatic, Power, and what 50 Cent has been doing with that stuff, even the show that he has on one of the networks about that was working with the convict that was innocent, got out of jail. I forget the name of that show. I never watched it, but
yeah, I didn't watch it. I know what you're talking about.
There's some like I was even looking Michaela Cole, who was I remember first time I saw her was like a flight attendant in a Black Mirror episode, and now HBO has given her multi deals to bring shows forth on HBO. Like that's cool as shit. Shonda Rhimes, as much as Grey's Anatomy is just like I've watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy, more than I'm willing to admit. It's a dumb show. But you cannot disagree. I think they just Ellen Pompeo just signed on for the 19th or 20th season of that fucking show, which is a black woman led.
Fuck her, because she cussed out Denzel. Fuck her. But go ahead.
It's just like there's just a lot of really cool shit happening. But then even if you look into really the more artistic shit, like what FX is doing with Donald Glover in Atlanta and letting him have as much space and time he needs to work on what it is he's doing. I don't remember black people having this much power necessarily and having their own creative ideas and vision come all the way through from the first thought all the way to what 100%. It is you're seeing on the screen.
They've always had to bend in some way or like do like attune something to some way. And Issa when she was in like the recap to like Insecure, which is one of my favorite shows ever, probably my top 3, top 5. But it's one of my favorite shows ever. I love the show. But she talked about this. She was like, when she was making it, she was like, oh, somebody told her that she had to have a white character. So to be able to grow the audience and to like for people to actually tune in and stuff like that. But she didn't want to go like that complete direction. And so she did end up having one, but they were like, she was barely in the show. It just became like a part of the show, but it was still a black show. And to like the like earlier point, I didn't really like the Fresh Prince trailer. I want to say that I didn't like the Fresh Prince trailer. Yeah. I agree with James where like you can't recreate it, but I don't think they went far enough from it. Here's what I think they should have done. I'm cool with the dramatization version of it, right? Like I'm cool with like we're going to do a more dramatized version of it, like whatever, cool, that's fine. But there's a social media idea years ago that they should have done, and they said Will should have a kid and he should have to send him to the hood. Like it shouldn't like I don't need Uncle Phil. I don't need black Uncle Phil, like dark skinned Uncle Phil, a different version of him. I don't want to see that. I don't want this. I'm just talking about me. I don't want to see that. I want to see Will and like say, hey, you soft as shit. I'm gonna send you back to Philly and let's toughen you up, son. That would have been a new and it would have felt new, innovative. It would have felt fresh.
Is that realistic though?
A dramatized version.
It's a show.
The same show I've already seen.
Right. That's the thing is like we're dealing with fiction, right? So as long as the stories are that we can do what it is we need to do. Bel Air seems like a rehash in a way that I don't think anybody really wants other than that fan-made trailer that came out a few years ago, which put Dude on, which was amazing that he was able to pull that together. It looked incredible. Very, very cool that he got the run and that Will actually decided that he wanted to produce something. Like, bravo and kudos to you for having the idea and like getting all the way to fruition. But it's the same way I even feel to a certain degree about the Black Wonder years, right? Like, I don't necessarily need a rehash of anything. Give me some brand new IP, baby. Like, even with the Wonder Year, like when I first heard the concept of them doing like a Black Wonder Years, like I'm a huge fan of the original show, and I'm a huge fan. Kevin Arnold, Winnie Cooper, who's an ass, he's fucking Winnie's.
Winnie was everybody's first crush.
Absolutely, Danica McKellar, God bless her. So like, and then the idea that like when my dad would tell me about like growing up in the '60s and this and the other, and I was like, it'd be kind of cool to see. Like maybe it's a little because like the upbringings of a white kid compared to a black kid, like this is going to be vastly different.
Completely different.
Do I need what is Bel Air trying to be? Is it Gossip Girl with a black lead? Like what is it? Like I feel like we're in this territory too much. And Cruel Intentions did it better than anybody else, so fuck off. Like why are we still in this world? I don't care about this anymore. The idea that you have somebody in the hood like telling our stories and the complexity of our stories instead of what has always kind of bothered me about Fresh Prince, even the Cosby Show, is here is a slice of blackness that is palatable to white people.
Yep. Yes.
It's here's Uncle Phil, who's a judge who made it in Bel Air and is at the pinnacle of what white people consider this. Now we get to look at what this family is about. Like, or Cosby, he's got to be a fucking, what was it, Dr. Like, come on, like, just show our stories. It's like, that's why I love it. I will always go back to Atlanta and what Donald Glover did in the sense of, I am who I am. I like what I like. It's a little unconventional. Black people now we all have access to pretty much all the same shit via the internet. We can all listen to all different kinds of music. We can all listen to all different, watch all kinds of media. It doesn't need to be pigeonholed. Like there are so many complex stories coming out of the Black community, which make things so cool to see. That's why I've not watched all of Insecure. I need to. I'm going back. I'm actually trying to clear up watching Insecure and the Zendaya show. What the fuck? Euphoria. I'm going back to. I'm getting started on Euphoria tonight. Actually. Yeah.
A24 Kids. Clark said something on Twitter. He's like, yeah, like I'm finally watching Euphoria because everybody's willing me to do so, and I'm really uncomfortable. And I just started down. I was like, see, I ain't fucking with it.
That's the thing is that Euphoria
like episode 1, he's like, I'm uncomfortable.
Euphoria kind of plays Euphoria kind of plays into what James was saying is that things just, but I think you got to come back bigger and better, right? Otherwise, anybody's just kind of bored with what you're doing. I like, you can look at a lot of teen movies. What do you mean? There's been teen movies and stuff in teen shows that have pushed the envelope. Mm-hmm. And no, they didn't call it A24 Kids because Kids is fucked up alone on this. They call it A24 Degrassi. Degrassi was a show that had like these complex things happen to teenagers, but still palatable for teenagers, right? Like you'd have a school shooting episode that was like, oh, wow, they would never show that on TV. But I can look through the 90s. I can look at things like My So-Called Life that really dealt with shit in a way that I still don't think get enough props. Freaks and Geeks, even to a lesser degree, just showing a certain class of kid and teenager in an era that just wasn't getting any shine on. And my generation's ultimate teen movie, Superbad, which showed another element of like the loser kid trying to come up and try to figure out his way. There's always kind of been those stories, the coming of age sort of story. And maybe we push the envelope, we get it more raunchy as time goes on. Maybe not as much as we were in like the early 2000s. I think it's kind of toned down since then. Like all those goddamn National Lampoon movies and Van Wilder and all the tits everywhere. I don't know. I want to see and hear more original stories that are coming that are full-fledged about the Black experience. Mm-hmm. That is different than the shit that we've already seen. Issa Rae saying that Insecure is about an insecure, weird, she loves it, she's weird, Black woman that you don't usually see is fucking dope. This is dope. Like it's not Girlfriends on the WB when they were showing that shit. Or the biggest issue that I have with there is one huge issue I do have with Black television right now is the dearth of reality TV shows and horse shit and garbage that is out right now, which is really rough.
But hey, man, you gotta feed the streets, man. Sweet Life is a good one. It's a good reality show on HBO.
I've seen that one. Also
produced by Insecure, and it's about like 20-somethings, like basically having money and growing their brands and things like that. It's a good show. It's a decent show.
Yeah, I don't need Love and Hip Hop Delaware. Okay, like they've done enough. Black Ink Crew started as a show about a fucking tattoo shop. I don't know what it is now. Like,
remember Baldwin Hills?
Baldwin Hills was a classic.
Also, on the show.
If you try to rewatch it, it's on Hulu. Doesn't hold up.
There's a lot.
I tried to rewatch it. I was like, why was I watching this? Like, this is so poorly produced.
I think Black TV is the same way I feel about hip hop. And I say this and it causes controversy. I don't think there's ever been a better time in hip hop history than today. And the reason being is the amount of variety of shit you can get. It's never been this easy to get the amount of, like, yeah, I understand. There's not a Tupac, there's not a Biggie. I get that. But shit, I can go through dudes that were rapping still from back then and I still want to listen to new projects they put out now today compared to all the new artists and all the new shit that I can do. I can hit shuffle on my fucking playlist of rap music and not hit the same artists for an hour or two. It's fucking dope.
I want to piggyback on your point. I just want to like highlight some of the shows to show, like, to convey like the diversity in Black television, like how things are so different. It's like Grand Crew, which is recent. Abbott Elementary, which is everybody's saying it was like the Black Office, which is like a disservice to say that. It's not that, but it's a good show. You've got the Upshaws on Netflix. You got the Queen Show on Fox. You got Insecure. You got Snowfall, P-Valley, Grownish, Blackish. You got The Shy. You got the entire Power universe that 50 built. Got the Tyler Perry universe, which is like, if you want that kind of television, it's there for you. If you like soap operas, it's there for you. You got Atlanta, like you're talking about. Did White People just ended? You got Queen Sugar. You got All American. You got 20s. You got Southside. And even, hey, for nerds fucking like me, you got superheroes. You got Batwoman is Black. You got Naomi on CW. She's a black superhero. Black Lightning, I think, is ended or just about to end. And you got Raising Dion on Netflix. You got Pose. That's completely different. The Wonder Years. We talked about that earlier. Black Lady Sketch Show. Family Reunion. Upcoming, you got the Best Man series. And you got Rap Shit, which is also upcoming. It's like that is, we're talking about completely different genres with all of that. Like, you got comedies, you got dramas, you got fucking highbrow dramas where you're talking about award-winning acting when you talk about a show like Snowfall. Then you got like a lower tier with that, like with the Power Universe, where it's like the acting isn't that good. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say that. The writing isn't that good. The acting is good, and it's like it's a little bit lower as far as like the quality of the show. You got that. And like I said, you got comedies, you got some sitcoms with Abbott Elementary and Grand Crew. You got that. Like the diversity in that. It's so expansive. It's like great to see.
And I think that's the thing is that, like, when I was young and I'm watching those shows on TV, if I'm watching The Fresh Prince, they're basically saying, if you're a black dude, you're either Will or you're Carlton. Which one are you? Like, it's like, and then, or I'm Martin. I'm not Martin. I'm not that. I'm loud, but I'm not that. It's Martin.
I never heard of Abbott Elementary.
So it's a newer show.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
They're just on their third episode. It's on ABC by Quinta Brunson. But it's good.
She wrote it?
She's in it.
Yeah.
Wrote it. Yeah, she's in
That's
it.
awesome.
She wrote it. And also has, my guy from Everybody Hates Chris, Tyler. Is it Tyler Williams?
James Williams. Yeah, James Williams.
Yeah.
And what was that? Was that Naomi? What's the name of that show? That's on
Naomi on the CW.
Yeah, shout out to Marari.
Produced.
Shout out to Marari, went to Wilson, my boy's brother-in-law. Actually had the movie Residue that came out not that long ago. He just directed an episode of that show. Ava DuVernay tapped him and said, "It's your turn." It's fucking dope. It's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up show.
What'd you say, James?
What's a mockumentary?
The Office.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they described Abbott Elementary as.
Yeah, it's mockumentary style.
Okay.
James, have you ever seen the movie?
They're talking to the camera and stuff like, and when they make their jokes and shit like that. I like it. Okay. It's a funny show.
Okay, I got you.
I just for my own. James, have you ever seen the movie This Is Spinal Tap?
This is what?
Have you ever heard of the movie This Is Spinal Tap?
Final what?
This is Spinal Tap.
Oh, Spinal Tap. No.
Okay.
Keem, you heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of that either.
What?
Yeah, I haven't.
Like you threw that out there, like
no, Keem not knowing it actually blows my mind a bit. That's nuts. It's like the first and the greatest mockumentary probably ever made. It follows this fictional band, and it's Rob Reiner directed it. Yeah, it's Christopher Guest. Like it's the volume goes all the way up to 12. Whatever. I don't know. It's a sidebar. Sorry.
Yeah, from 1984, man.
Who gives a shit? What is it? I don't understand. I'll never understand that concept. Because something's made in a particular year, right? It's 2022. We have access to all of it. It's not an excuse anymore. Not saying that it's the same way I feel about hip hop heads.
I'm not saying that it's from 1984. So we can't see it.
What do you say?
I don't want to see it.
Because it's from 1984.
Yeah, that's me. Like, you already know my viewpoints on fucking TV shows and all this other shit is weird anyway. So that's
not weird, bad.
No, it's weird. Like, you can't say my shit is bad because I can say your shit is bad. So
I know one of us is right. The
depending on who you talk to, it might not be you.
Once again, as Keem had to point out the Medea crowd. I understand. Not everybody's on my side. I know I'm righteous stuff. The
right to yourself, like fam. We're all allowed to wrong at some point, depending on who we talk to.
The Tyler Perry universe is actually I'm now the only reason. Look, we have to still say the variety and diversity is the spice of life, right? It's great. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
That also means because of so many varieties and stuff, there's absolute dog shit too. So as far as from a percentages standpoint, you can look at some of those 90 sitcoms and say, all right, if you look at the amount of them there were, most of them were successes that got greenlit compared to the percentage of shows that are just not. Look, I try to give Tyler Perry as much due as I can. I think he's amazing in Gone Girl. He's amazing in Star Trek. He's Alan Payne is my dude. I love Alan Payne. Fucking New Jack City, CB4. It's Alan fucking Payne. I see Meet the Paynes. I'm like, I'm gonna give my man a shot. I got to. It's Alan Payne. I can't fucking do it. There's some shit out there that's just horrible shit. Like it's not redeemable. Like Grey's Anatomy, I will always find to be way too melodramatic, but it's amazing and there's an audience for it. And it's great. I actively think Tyler Perry, other than the careers of these launching, is bad for people.
I put Tyler Perry and Shonda in the same tier for me. They're in the same. It's like the same
quality.
They're both. It's soap opera television, and I don't do soap operas. It's soap operas. Shonda is a little bit more quality, to be fair, but it's soap opera television. It's soap operas, and I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care to see that at all. I don't care, and I'm not gonna watch it. It's not entertaining to me. Mm-hmm. But there's an audience for it, and people want to see that shit, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think that there's another show that used to exist. It's not here anymore, even though they've talked about bringing it back, and it's probably not a good idea. Boondocks. I do wish that is my man Aaron McGruder doing it.
I don't think so. I heard that was last year though. That was last year. I don't know
if he's not a part of it. I don't know. So like, there's that part of man. But I am with Aaron McGruder for the most part on Tyler Perry's content. I just wish he did better, or just hand it over to other people. Like just be the bankroll.
Keem, I do want to reiterate your point again. Like, and Kate, I think you were saying the same thing. I didn't think about it before. One of the major differences is how diverse shit is now compared to back then. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at all the different shows, like Kate, I said, like they were mostly successful because it wasn't that many. You had to be like really, really fucking good to get on. And now it's like I think you brought up the same point in terms of music. This debate has been going on forever. Is it easier to get on now than it was back then? And it's like, yeah, it is, because it's easier to like put your shit out there. Like everybody has access to your shit. Anybody can upload something, right? But it's not just because it's more quantity doesn't mean it's like better quality or even close to it. So that's how I feel about the same thing with like the sitcom shows.
I think that if I'm looking at the early 90s, the only thing I'm giving is a higher success rate. I still think that there's better quality television on TV now than there was back then. Just looking at a lot of the characters, and like I said, they're looking back through the eyes in which we can see things now. They're all a little more problematic than we remember them being. If I'm being honest with myself in a sense.
What do you mean?
Family Matters.
Oh, you
I remember as a kid.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
In hindsight, now it's a terrible show.
It's fucking dog shit, right? But not bad then.
But not even from a problematic standpoint. This is just like,
kind of problematic.
They've made so much fun of it on Twitter now, like about like how the music just hits. But that's today's point, like how he was talking about, like they teach you lessons. 90s sitcoms tried to hit you with that shit all the time. Like I remember I was watching, what the fuck was it I was watching? Was it Girlfriends or a Different World or something? Oh no, I think it was A Different World, where like somebody like mentioned AIDS, and it was like, I was like, bitch, she's just AIDS. I was like, what the fuck?
Back then it wasn't though.
Being so fucking dramatic about it.
Back then it wasn't though.
But I go beyond that. Like there's a problematic aspect. Me and my girlfriend will sit like before she goes to work in the morning. Before I take her to work. Usually Fresh Prince is on TV. Used to be Friends, now it's Fresh Prince. I actually do appreciate that to a certain degree. But the Fresh Prince, she just gave me the finger. Fresh Prince, the way Will treats women in Fresh Prince is fucking rough. Fuck you. It's rough. It's fairly rough.
Yo, baby, yo.
There's some rough shit happening there. Like I don't want to, like, I'm not PC. Like I'm not that. It's just these women just don't have fucking agency.
But that's how it was back then.
No, I'm not. But it's not. But that's the thing. Is that like if we're going to talk about it, like I think you can be offensive and funny, right? Like I don't think there's an issue with that. my thing is if I'm looking through the characters on that show, a lot of them lack depth. Like, if I'm looking through, what is Hillary?
You know what? The funny part was when you said they lack depth. Like that was what hit my mind.
That Trevor needed more depth.
He was a weather woman.
Huh? She finally got there, but even when she was a weather woman, she was like the ditzy, dumb weather woman.
But no, she had smart moments.
Tatiana Ali solely existed until the point that she wanted to be a pop star, and they just start throwing Ashley can sing storylines and shit.
That's diversity within that family. Not everybody in the world, as you can tell from this pandemic, is smart. And so there are stupid people, and some of them are light skinned. And Hillary just happened to be one of those people. Ashley wasn't stupid. She was smart. She was just.
I didn't say Ashley was stupid. I didn't say Ashley was stupid.
I know. I'm just saying she wasn't smart. She was smart. She was just boy crazy.
But I think
Carter was a herb ass nigga. He was whack as fuck, and that's just him. Will was cool nigga, and he just happened to be what I'm saying. So it's diversity.
Then you have Family Matters, which starts off as this like family sitcom about the full family, right? About like we're gonna have multiple generations living in the same household. We're going to have the dad's a cop. Harriet was on Perfect Strangers or whatever the other show is, was rolled off into this. Then here's the wacky nerd guy, that just a side character. And then it becomes slowly, what happened to Richie and the aunt?
No. Richie and the aunt stayed around. The daughter disappeared.
Oh, the daughter disappears.
She walked up the stairs and never came back.
They kill half the cast.
I don't watch that shit.
They kill half the cast, and it's just what crazy shenanigans is Steve Urkel going to get into, and it's almost like a caricature. And it's not. Come on, who's Steve Urkel representing in our community? I'm sorry, there's no one. He's just not. Like there's no place there. Martin's also like you saw there also was that era which I think is coming off the 80s where you had, all right, find a funny black guy, give him a show. He's going to be the guy. Eddie Murphy goes and saves SNL, and then beyond that, you had like Red Fox,
Mr. Cooper,
Hang with Mr. So he got a show. LL got a show.
Hey, I like In the House. That's good. I be watching.
Best part about In the House is Kim Wayne's. Jamie got a show.
I love it's. In my opinion, it's better than Martin. But go ahead.
The other two Wayans got a show.
Ooh.
It's not as better as the other two. It's good.
Wait, King, what'd you say?
It's not as good as the other two, but it's good.
You said Jamie Foxx is better than Martin?
To me, yes.
I think it's a better overall show. I'd agree with that. And I don't love the Jamie Foxx show. I don't love Martin. There's moments of Martin that I love.
You really don't like. Well, you don't like Martin.
Martin to me, some of the side characters would make that show. It's just him. Like Martin. They should just gave Martin a variety show. I don't understand why they were fucking around with that. Like it should just gave Martin a variety show. Just the amount of characters he played. It was Tracy Ullman like they could have did something kind of weird with her.
I love Martin. Hilarious.
They gave Flex Alexander a show. Remember Homies in Space?
Man, 101 was good, man.
I'm talking about Homies in Space.
Oh.
Remember that one?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Neither. I just remember UPN was not bat. UPN was not batting 1,000. Wait, I can tell you that.
Homie in Space.
Homies in Space. That was ABC. Damon Wayans gets his shot, and My Wife and Kids was good. But the better version of My Wife and Kids, Bernie Mac show for real, dude.
Do you remember the daughter from My Wife and Kids?
Yeah.
I just watched a movie with my wife, and now she's a mom with a teenage daughter.
James, we're old. We're old.
That part hit me.
It's 2022.
Shit.
The entire draft of players in the next NFL draft, we remember the days they were all born. Like it's in recent memory. Like it's not. We're old, man.
You know what? I felt bad when I was like, Kenyon Martin Jr.'s son is playing in the league now. It's like, fuck, we're old.
But overall, TV is just, there's always going to be shit TV. There's always going to be good TV. I just appreciate the amount of voices. And I think what's actually going to get really, really interesting is a debate that's happening in the film industry. What's happening is you have like the Scorseses, the Tarantinos that want people to go into the theaters. The population at large saying, we'll go to theaters for some things. We're not going to theaters for other things. You've got Netflix that is throwing around money. I always talk about like what I've seen from Netflix over the last couple of years with what they did with Jingle Jangle, which I still think is the best Christmas movie I've seen in the last like 5 to 10 years. And what they did with The Harder They Fall, which was probably one of the it's Seal's brother, right? James Samuels, I think his name's who directed it. Just, hey, this guy's got a vision. We trust him. Throw money his way, and we'll just bring his thing to life. Oh. I think that there's a lot of stuff that's happening. What you see them doing with Kayla Cole, what you see them do with Issa Rae, HBO wants her for 5 more fucking projects, right? Like, there's
anything about Jordan Peele.
She signed a deal. She signed a deal with.
She signed it. Yeah, there's going to be an exciting time right now for a lot of diverse stories that come out that are not performative in nature, which is another thing that I want us to make sure that we're staying away from. It's the same way I'm watching Sex and the City right now, and they're trying so hard to diversify a cast. It doesn't need diversity. It doesn't. We know what the show is when we turn it on, guys. Like, we know. If you're gonna just do something else, you don't need to keep with the same IP.
Wait, same reason you rebooted it?
No, it's the same characters, but now there's like there's a lesbian
their best character.
No, I'm saying, so there's new episodes.
Yeah, there's new episodes. But like,
I'm not watching it because Samantha's not there, so fuck that show.
They're slowly bringing her back. I haven't
seen any.
I'm watching. We tapped out. I watched because I've seen every episode of Sex and the City, but
I'm saying I've never seen any episodes of Sex and the City ever.
I used to like it.
I was a fan. It was my HBO lead-in.
I just heard that like they
thought I was going to get sex when I was young and watching it, but it was not.
Dude, I'll tell you right. What taught me about sex probably more than anything else growing up was Sex and the City, and you know what? And I will say it helped in a lot of ways because when women then realize you come at it from a women viewpoint and what it is as far as pleasure and shit, it helped. It fucking helped.
Is your girlfriend still in the room?
She is.
Can she hear us?
She what?
Can she vouch?
No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to hear that answer.
Give us a yay or a nay.
No, we're
Yeah, no, like I expect like a shoe or some shit to be hurled your way.
That would be great.
Yeah, I probably need to wrap up soon.
Oh yeah, no,
wrap up.
I got text too.
Fuck you. But yeah, man, there's so much shit coming out that's it's cool. And as long as the streamers are putting the power with these people and making sure that their whole projects are heard from, that they get to have their creative freedom in the process, is huge to me. Tyler Perry, man, like I respect the shit out of the man. I do. And what he did as far as that studio lot that he's got in Atlanta and what that could mean for things. But the same way I feel about Aaron Sorkin, stick to writing scripts, let other people shoot. Tyler, be the money man.
I have a question. Did y'all watch Why Did I Get Married?
Of course.
What did you think about that one?
Okay, so I don't know. I'm Kadeem probably doesn't share my opinion on this, but Tyler Perry made like 6 good movies from like 2005 to like 2009. The Family That Prays is his best one. Like, I think it might have just been the fact that he had my girl. What's her name? Is it Kathy White? What is her name? I can't think of her name. Anyway,
what movie?
The Family That Prays. The white woman. I'm drawing a blank. I love her. She's a great actress. She was in fucking Misery.
Kathy Bates.
Yes, Kathy Bates. Right. She was fucking great in The Family That Prays. Like, she fucking killed that. And I don't know, but that's his best movie to me. It was a good movie. Like, he has like that is a good movie. Diary of a Mad Black Woman is a good movie. Family Reunion. Both Why Did I Get Married are good movies. So like 5. So he has some good content. I think. But he stayed in that Chitlin Circuit type of content, and then it got worse.
Oh, why you say that word?
That's what it is, though.
It's what it is. Like, I remember growing up, you listened to WHUR and Tom Joyner was Tyler Perry's coming to town. And why do I got like that's what it was, right? Like, he was going around doing his shows, and you gotta respect the hustle. I respect any man to start the way that he did and to get to the point that he is putting people on. And the cast that he has, some of the best black talent in Hollywood, and making sure when Malik Yoba shows up and stuff, I'm like, My man, New York undercover for life, dog. Like it's like when you search it, I'm like, all right, that's cool, and I'm glad you're doing it. Let other people write, just produce.
All right. I also have another question for you guys. This popped in my head. So we're looking at the old sitcoms and shows and shit from the past, like Living Single, Fresh Prince, Martin, Different World, etc. Right? Those I consider heavy hitters. What shows now would you consider heavy hitters? I know Insecure is one, like a show that a decade from now, like people will still be talking about or like trying to put other people on who haven't seen it.
That's easy for me. Insecure, like you said, for sure is one. Just looking at my list, Snowfall is at the top of that list for me. Yeah. Snowfall, fucking top tier. It is great fucking television. It is like up there with The Wire. Maybe not as good, but it's up there with The Wire for me. I haven't watched this yet, but a lot of people love The Shot. I think that's up there. That's what they say. I haven't watched it, but people say it's quality television. I think you have to put Atlanta up there, and probably Pose as well. I think those are your top tier. Like when it comes to award season, people are always looking for where are the awards for these shows here. So,
I think what's Pose?
Huh?
What's Pose about?
Transgender community, LGBTQ community in the 80s.
Okay.
80s, I want to say.
I think the answer is Atlanta. Snowfall probably just because of the aura that's around it. Insecure, I think is going to go down as legendary, especially there are a lot of people I know that sat out Insecure and are now going to go through and binge it. Which I think you'll keep it. But I think your question though, I'd say that's just universal across TV. Back in the 90s, when there were only but a certain number of channels and not everyone had cable, the ratings for these shows were astronomical. No network is commanding those sort of ratings unless you're playing football. Like, it's just not happening. There's too many things. And then how many people do you know that don't have cable? So they're not watching it there. They're watching it streaming on their time, right? So, like, there's a lot more of that to where it's hard to say. You kind of feel it on the Twitter discourse, like who's the passionate fan base, I guess. But I think it's hard for I don't think there is any show that does that really. The last one that I can think of that is like universal, it's always number one. And I hate it. I think it's absolute dog shit. Is probably Big Bang.
Oh, I was going to say Game of Thrones.
Girlfriend literally just shot up, and if she had a gun, I'd be dead right now. She's a Big Bang fan.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Like I was looking at it just ended like a couple years ago.
But what are the ratings on Game of Thrones? And compare the ratings to Game of Thrones to what like the number one network show was. Yeah.
So actually, when I was doing the research and looking at data, the data from 86 to like 20 whatever, 20. Mm-hmm. I think I said 2012 before, but I think it might have been like 2016, 2017 or whatever. Yeah. Game of Thrones was up there. Like doing numbers. Like fucking numbers.
It broke
like numbers that compared to
cable TV. I get that. I'm saying that like I understood. It's huge. It's a huge show. I'm just saying that like the command of which network TV used to be in America is just it's I don't think we're getting that back. Not to mention even what Game of Thrones is. Succession, I don't know if it's as big as Game of Thrones. I don't think it is, but I think it's kind of hard to tell because I know I watch it on HBO Max, so I'm not tuning in to watch it on HBO. So like I don't know how that plays in.
But they factor in that into the numbers though.
What year did this start?
I don't trust that. That's the other.
Yeah,
I think 2018 or 2019.
2018 and 2018.
So this is like around the time that Game of Thrones was ending, right?
It came out after Game of Thrones had ended.
Yeah.
Well, it started like its first season came before Game of Thrones ended.
I thought it was back to back. I thought Game of Thrones ended and then Succession. Sorry, I may be wrong about that. I'll look it up.
I think it was back to back. Because Game of Thrones ended summer 2019. I think Succession's first season was fall 2018. And then
I blacked that out so bad.
Second season in 2019, and then we got a third season last year because there was a delay because of COVID and everything.
You're 100% right. I'm kind of blanking out on the last season of Game of Thrones.
I mean, Fair enough. I rewatched it and it's not as bad as I remember, but it's still.
My opinion has not changed.
Buttholes, huh?
My opinion on
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
My opinion on the end of Game of Thrones has not changed. It still remains. I like where everything ended up. We just rushed the process getting there.
I heard
that's my opinion, but the discourse about it makes it seem like it's worse than it is.
No, they're not bad episodes. It's just like, hey, why did we time jump? We never used to do this.
Yeah.
I think the new spinoff is supposed to be really good. That's what I keep hearing.
I can't wait.
Hey, it's better than that fucking bullshit Wheel of Time thing that Amazon Prime is trying to do, which I'm not watching. I'm not going to watch. Never.
Oh, see, look, at this point, I just watch sports and whatever Marvel movie comes out. That's where I'm at with life. I'm sorry. Look, I don't have that much time, bro. Like, why you ain't tell me this? Like, you get married, shit like this happen. Just so you know.
Why do you think I'm not married now? Never mind.
Now I expect the shoe to hit you in the head.
She went in the bathroom. But can we wrap this up? She doesn't look happy.
Speaking of time, I was about to say, we can. All
right, but yeah, I mean, my final thoughts on this, just to get my shit out the way, is this was very good for me to sit in and listen to, just because I didn't know that there was this many different shows on all these other networks. I haven't heard of half these shits that you're talking about. So I came in with blinders. All right, I look at Insecure, Euphoria. They talk about teens and all this shit, having sex, doing drugs. This shit is weird. I didn't do that shit when I was a teen or a kid. That's when I came up with the exaggerated realness, real situation, just exaggerated a little bit. But then you kind of talked about that. And I was like, all right, that's more so towards Tyler Perry, which you kind of pointed out before. Soap opera type shit. And I was like, all right, cool. So my opinion changed and I appreciate y'all.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Every time I talk to people that didn't go to DC public schools, I then realize I had a really fucked up childhood.
No,
all I did was play football, run track, and study.
That's all that Euphoria stuff is realistic. It is exaggerated in the sense that I don't think all of that would be happening how it is, in that one situation with all those people, and they just all happen to talk to each other.
Right.
That's extremely exaggerated, but different situations at different schools. I've heard different things from people I know. It's yeah, we did coke. Yeah, we smoked a little weed. Yeah, I mean, everybody smoked a little weed. Everybody smoked weed. I think I didn't smoke weed, but I know a lot of people smoke weed.
We couldn't smoke because
weed, pills, and coke were everywhere.
Yes.
I didn't see anything in regards to cocaine until after college.
My first time I did X was the 7th grade.
Never did X. I was offered it in Vegas, but it never did it.
I've not done it, but that's just, I'm a control freak, so it's not really my thing. But
I just like getting rubbed on. That was nice.
You don't need drugs to do that.
7th grade, this story shouldn't be. 7th grade, I had a fake field trip form. Got my parents to sign it. Told them I needed $500 for a Echo Hill outdoor school trip that was a recurring thing. I think it was $300. It was only $500. Had somebody come pick me up. I went to New York today.
All right, you know what, fam? You different.
You lie.
Different. Fam, I'll stick to my McNulty's, Black Knights, and shit like that. I'll be over here.
You rule.
You should hear my high school stories. How I had a burner phone for the school, so I didn't have my parents' number. The conversation I had to call my mom and say, "Do you want to see your son walk across the graduation stage?" And you laugh at me it was okay. Let's wrap this up.
Hey, well, that's pretty much all we got.
Nice.
I just want to go out by saying I'm very thankful for basically all this Black content, television. Thankful for you guys as well having this discussion. And just hey man, we got anything you want to watch, you can watch. It's out there. And kind of like Kadeen said, I hope that expands to more into films too as well. It seems like we've got TV cornered. So I hope we get more diversity in our film selection as well.
We need to have a Black high school show, a real Black high school show.
I'd be cool with that. Yep, I'd be cool with that.
Once again, that's the thing that once again it goes to that diversity aspect. I think the Black high school experience is extremely different depending on where you are.
Yeah, but I think there are some things that you could relate to. Pepper Ellie, like that, certain shit.
Let's get the Degrassi guys and call it Crenshaw and let's get it rolling.
No. No.
Drake can be the principal.
Oh no, I'm not watching.
Yeah. See, look, and now we have exaggerated realness.
But all right, now you know.
Cool. Is that how random? All right. Black TV and film. Shit's awesome. Yeah. Leave on that note.
I need a list. You know what? Can y'all put a list of all the shows that y'all like? That y'all
I'm not doing that. Keem, that's on you. All right.
I mean, just text it and you can like paste the shit in the video.
I'm joking.
Let's spread awareness because I don't know half these shows y'all talking about.
I'll send you a list of stuff you should watch. Not everything, but the stuff you should watch.
Yeah, because there's certain shit that I do want to look at because like it's interesting.
This is gonna hurt my heart when you don't like it. I don't think me and you have similar tastes, so just don't think so.
Man, I would watch any show basically. If you look at the shit that I am forced to watch now in my life, I will watch anything else.
Solo, you're goddamn.